there's the 3 C's, the 3 F's, and the 7 D's. And the first thing I wanted to look at with you guys was Jesus called his disciples to do 3 things, and these are the 3 F's. And this is kind of like the broad outline of discipleship as you guys covered it. And that is 1, to follow him, 2, to fellowship with each other, and 3, to fish. And so when you guys hear those 3 things, follow, fellowship, and fish, what ways do you guys think that as you did it, were you thinking of it in that way? And now that it's been explained in that way, do you see it and do you think that it is fully encompassing, or do you think that there is something that dives deeper into that that can be understood? And how can that apply to a context outside of the Christian world?
Well, I think like it's important that, like you said, Jesus called his disciples to follow him. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important to remember the fact that as Christians, while we're discipling others, most importantly, we are a disciple of Jesus, right? And so like the way that we disciple others and the way that we expect them to allow us to disciple them, we must allow Jesus to do that to us, right? And so, you know, like we talked about I was talking about the power of being present, the power of presence. And so just like spending time with him to like allow him to be able to disciple you, because first, above all things, right, we are disciples of Christ. And so that like spending time in prayer, intimate time with him and in his word, learning more about him, is just different ways that we can learn to follow him better. And also going into like fellowship with him, that's like part of the same thing, following him and fellowship with him, and with others. So like surrounding yourself with community and everything, a godly community, to be able to help build you up, and surrounding yourself with the right people to be able to help build you up, and not ones that are going to pull you away from Christ, but try to push you closer to him, right? And out of the overflow of those things, being in community and following him and fellowshipping with Jesus, that's where we can go out and we can fish for others. And
so you say that the first 2 need to be present in abundance before you attempt to do the third part, the fish.
Yes. Because going to fish for others, you're going to be, another way to say it is, we're going to go tell people about Jesus. How you going to tell somebody about something you don't know yourself, right? So it's like, if you wanted to be a math teacher, how you going to be a math teacher? You don't know math yourself. So
let me teach you about quantum physics.
Exactly.
Wait, 3 + 3 is 8. So
yeah, and how that can be applied in, how did you say it?
So, and yeah, that's the challenge, right? Yeah. So in the Christian world, like you said, we get our discipleship maybe from others, but primarily always first and foremost from Jesus. And then we follow Jesus. In the secular world, where a person is wanting to take on the role of an apprentice or disciple, as an apprentice, it's a little bit better, because an apprentice role is to listen to and do the bidding of their teacher. Yeah. But let's say a person but usually that structure only exists within a trade. An electrician, plumber, some type of blue collar work. Now, if a person is just seeking something that is not based from their work, how do they follow these 3 steps of follow, fellowship, and fish?
You got anything?
I'm still thinking over here.
And we would start with the follow part. So we would say, okay, so you're a person. Let's say you work at Publix or Chipotle. if you want to be a disciple, well, first you have to figure out what you want to be discipled in, right?
Yeah.
Because even in the context of us being disciples in Christ, we've decided we want to follow him for the way and the purposes and eternity with him in heaven. That is the goal. So let's say we want to figure out what the thing is we want to be discipled in. And then it becomes, okay, now who do we follow in the pursuit of that?
So thinking about it, going back to, we'll use the Chipotle analogy. Let's say you work at Chipotle, but you're like, I want to get more money. I want to become a manager at Chipotle.
Right.
Like, who are you going to follow? Probably the manager that you're currently working for, or something like that, right? I would make the argument that being discipleship that doesn't involve the pursuit of Christ is vanity. Right? Because the verse that comes to mind is like, I don't know if this is an actual verse or if this is a saying people say, because I'm not sure, but the blind can't lead the blind, right? And
yes.
And so, like, if you're trying to follow somebody who themselves, looking from our perspective as Christians, right, they're lost too. You're just following somebody who's also lost, so you're both just going to be lost, right? And because, as we know, which not all people know, but we know the purpose of our life is to follow God and to follow his commandments, right, and to serve him. But other people don't know that. And so if you're asking how do these people like choose who they should follow, I think practical advice is go find somebody who's even if you like, no matter what profession you're in or what area of expertise you're looking for discipleship or mentorship, right? Like, your best bet is to find somebody who's a follower of Christ, because they have the power of God to help them, to be able to help you, right? Whereas, like, if they don't have that, they're just the blind leading the blind.